Good morning, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. Thought I'd make a video since I'm alone here inside this house in Holland, Michigan, and in America, spiritual Babylon. It is 7:02 in the morning here. It is October the 1st, it's the 10th month of the year. We are slowly coming to the end of this year. 10 months, and can't get any worse. So I'm alone here, and the American wasteland, and drinking coffee. I got up around 5 o'clock because my mind clicked on and I couldn't turn it off. So I said I can come up here out of the lower level, and if I get tired I can just always go back to bed. I got nothing I have to do today. I have no appointments. Nowhere I have to go. I mowed the lawn when I got back from my session with my psychologist, and then I was sitting outside in the front in the driveway in a lawn chair, observing the neighborhood, people walking by with their dogs. There are so many dogs in this neighborhood. I don't remember seeing so many dogs. I wonder how many cats there are in this neighborhood. Now, we have a cat that comes by our house, and every once in a while, a big gray, long-haired cat. But I see so many dogs when I'm sitting out in the front in our driveway. And now, we had a dog. We had two dogs over the years of our married life, and our last dog, Rudy, who was a terrier mix, he died in 2016. He got cancer in his lymph nodes. The other dog, our first dog, was Macintosh. He was a West Highland Terrier we bought when we were living in Houston, Texas. And when we moved up here, we had him. And then, I don't know what, he got really old and senile, and he didn't know who he was anymore, and so we put him down. He became senile. And maybe someday I'll become senile. Maybe I'm senile right now. Maybe I've lost my noodles right now. But, so I'm writing in my diary. This morning I took a picture of my October 2025 diary. I'm on page 804 for the year 2025. And I thought what I'd do is make a video, because in the mornings I read something, and I got out to read this morning In Your Light We See Light, a Reformed Theology of Divine Illumination by Paul C. Yun? Can't pronounce his Chinese name. So I've been reading this, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you knew the Bible. I think that the argument, it's confusing. It could be confusing, so I wouldn't recommend it. But what I would show in this video is I mentioned that a month ago, maybe, I was gifted a bunch of books from a fellow who passed away a couple years ago. I won't repeat the story, but in his library that I was able to go through and take what I wanted. The widow was very gracious and very giving. He had in his library not only books, but he had other things that I collect besides books. And I collect the Granta magazine of new writing. I collect these. Now these two I'm showing you. Well, these two I found a week ago at a Salvation Army thrift store. I found these two. But the rest, see the green tags? That's from a thrift store. So I found these, and if I find these at a thrift store or the Book Nook, the library used bookstore, or I don't buy them new. Now I showed you I bought that new one, just came out, the Granda, because it had a story by Voldman on going to Ukraine. I showed you that, which is in my study. I didn't bring it out. But these are the ones I found that Steve had in his library. Now he didn't have a complete set. I don't know. Maybe he got these at the Book Nook too. But so I thought I'd show you those besides these other things I'm going to show. I'm just going to show them to you. He had the best of Granada, the travel, and my assumption is that they have themes. Now in these Granada, they have articles on travel, they have short stories, they have poetry, photography, and they tend to focus on new writers, and there are some established writers, some writers I've never heard of, but this one is the best of Granada travel, and they all, I think they come out 4 times a year, and this one came out in, I have them all written down, but I forgot to bring it up here. I don't know what year, but this is the best of Granada. And this one is, they all have numbers, 162, and they all come out at different times. This one is, I don't know, winter of 2023. Then you have What Happened to Us, Granada. This is number 56. He must have found these two. This is winter of 1996. See, and there's photography in them. I like the photography. See, it has different photography in it. And see, different photography. And they have poetry, short stories, a lot of advertisements for books, creative writing courses, things like that. And then they have the body. See, I like the covers of these. This one is spring of 1992. So, you know, lots of advertisements. Then they have This one, number 119, and this was, see, they got all kinds of advertisement for books. This one, what year was this one? Oh, I don't know. This is spring of 2012. Granda magazine for new writing, 119. The Hidden Histories magazine of new writing, Granda, number 85. And this was spring of 2004. And once again, it tells you the contents. Like in this one is religious conversation by Orhan Pamuk, Turkish writer. Certain writers I know. D.C. Boyle has a short story in here, who I collect. This is on the family, the theme, the family by Granda. This one came out in, there's a short story by Raymond Carver in here. Different writers. This looks like more short stories. It's called Granda Books of the Family. I don't know what year, what this one was. Doesn't say what year this one came out. Anyway. Then Women and Children First, Granda, number 67. This is autumn of 1999. Photography, short stories, poetry. The Best of Young American Novelists, Granda, number 54. This one came out in summer of 1996. This one came out, The Family, number 37. You can buy these from Amazon. You can. There are still copies available if you want a complete set. This is from the autumn 1991. 50, Granda. This is number. What number is this one? Number 50. Summer of 1995. Then you have Travel again, Granda. Yeah, they focus on all kinds of things. I don't know what year this one is. It looks like an older one. Spring of 1989. So he must have picked these up used too, Steve. The Unbearable piece by Lou. See, it has Lou. This one came out in spring of 1991. Then the last one is Summer Fiction, Granda, number 148, 2018. So I got a bunch of those for I have a whole stack of these downstairs in the lower level that when I was volunteering at the Book Nook, the library used bookstore, they would come in once in a while and I would buy them for like, 50 cents. So I was happy to get those for my, kind of like, they're like the New Yorker almost. Well, different, but it focuses on new writing, photography, travel, poetry, journalism, things like that. He also had, Steve, in his library, old Paris reviews, which I collect. You all know about the Paris Review. This was a Paris Review, and they're also, this one came out in, I don't know what year this one is. Let me see here. Number 120. I don't know what year, but anyway, he had a bunch of these. And you have poetry in the Paris Review, interviews. You have poetry, like poetry by John Updike, Norman Mailer, fiction, Harold Bronte, who was a poet. Then you have this one, number 149, Paris Review. These are really old, some of these. I don't know where he got. He probably picked them up used. But this one. Then you have this one, number 103, Paris Review. Poetry by Joseph Bronsky, Francis Gray, interview. They have interviews, Walter Percy. I collect the writings of Walter Percy. He was an American writer. You have the Paris Review. They've been around since like the late 50s. I have a whole stack of old ones too downstairs that I've collected over the years. But see, they have book advertisements. They have poetry. They have drawings. This one's really old. It's falling apart. The glue has dried out. And if you're into literature, American writers, poetry, interviews, they're really interesting. That's why I collect them. I don't buy them because they're very expensive. Then you have number 151, the Paris Review. See, it has Jackson Pollock doing his drip paintings, poetry, art of fiction. Shelby Foote, who wrote that very famous History of the Civil War. And then Paris Review. There's a Joy Williams is in this one. I collect her writings. This is number 72. Some of these are quite old. 72, that's getting really way back in the beginning. He must have picked these up used. It doesn't say what year these came out. 1978, this one came out. And then he had this one, Paris Review, number 144. Some of these are in the 140s. He must have. And then he didn't have many of them, but I grabbed the ones that he had, the Paris Review. There's an interview with Jeanette Witherson, who's a writer that I collect. Art of fiction. I suppose it's writers who talk about writing. Poetry, short stories. If you're into reading about books, or you want to interviewing writers and the art of writing and poetry and photography and just the whole literary world. Paris Review. You can go to a library and probably look at them. I don't know if you can check them out, but I really have always found them very fascinating. That's why I collect them, because I'm into writers and writing and the art of writing and fiction, and they have these interviews with writers and how they talk about the life of being a writer and things like that. And they have photography. So yeah, I got some of these Paris reviews from Steve Jenkins' library, which I collect. So I just thought I'd show you. And I found these a couple of weeks ago at a Salvation Army. And I have a bunch of these Granadas and Paris reviews downstairs that I look at once in a while. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you. That's just part of the haul from Steve Jenkins' library. Steve Jenkins passed away a couple of years ago, and these were from his library. So I thought I'd show you this morning some more from the late Steve Jenkins' library. He had a book. The house was filled with books, bookcases in almost every room, upstairs and downstairs. He had a lot of. He was really into music, so there were all kinds of books on music, sheet music. He had a lot of books I didn't take because I had them, or and some, like I said, his wife kept, that she kept for herself. But I took a good amount, probably a couple hundred books in these magazines. So yeah, today is a Wednesday morning here. It is now going on 7:24 in the morning. Drinking coffee. I took photos of my October 2025 diary, posted them in those live journal communities, Paper Expressions and Embodiment, and into my Crooked Fingers. Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical of this book, but I won't go into it. So I don't have anything going on today. I just plan to, like when I was talking to my psychologist, how do I get through a day? Well, first in the morning I pray, and then I just pray for grace to get to the afternoon, 12 o'clock. And I pray for grace to get to 1 o'clock. I pray for grace to get to 3 o'clock. Then at 4 o'clock I turn the TV on and watch the weather. And then I turn the TV off around 4:20, and if it's really nice, I go sit outside in the front in our driveway and I watch humanity walk by with their dogs and young families and old people and people running and cars going back and forth. And I look at the sky. We're near, and there's Grand Rapids Airport, and we have jets flying over way up in the blue sky. And I watch the birds, all kinds of squirrels. They're collecting walnuts this time of year, and acorns and things, and the day just goes by. And I read my Christian books in the afternoons. I've been reading some nonfiction biographies, essays, all kinds of stuff. And then in the evenings I read fiction. I finished reading last night The Inquisitor, and I did decide to read Evelyn Waughan's A Handful of Dust, because since I started reading it, I might as well just finish it. So Carol did call yesterday when I was sitting in the driveway in a lawn chair. She's having a relaxing time. I don't know what it means to relax. I'm never relaxed. I'm always full of tension, anxiety, dread. Especially when I look at the news, I get sick inside. But what you gotta do is that you know that your life is temporal, that you're gonna die, and that as a Christian, I'm gonna go to heaven, and that God will bring about His eternal kingdom. So I hope this is a first day of October. This is a Wednesday. Pray you're having a good reading week. Thank you for the comments. And yeah, that's about it. I'll post this video and I'll list, I have a list of these. I showed you that list I made a list of what I got from Steve Jenkins' library. So I'll post a list of these Granadas and these Paris Review that I was able to add to my collection. So nothing really going on. I mean, yesterday at my psychology session, we just rambled. Nothing really, there's nothing really different was said. So I'll close to go through the day, seek to just keep myself from flipping out. May the Lord bless, and until next time, bye.